Imagine standing in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, where the past feels incredibly close. The air is crisp, the peaks dusted with early snow, and across the valley stands a stone watchtower, over 5 centuries old. This tower once guarded the frontier between Christian Castile and the Muslim Emirate of Granada, the last stage of the centuries-long Reconquista. The end of this conflict in 1492 didn't just redraw Spain's map, it set off a chain of events that would reshape the world. The newly unified Spanish kingdom, forged in war, was ready to look beyond its shores. That same year, Columbus, backed by Spain's monarchs, set sail across the Atlantic. The spirit of conquest honed in these mountains would soon connect continents and create empires. The final century of the Reconquista is a story of epic sieges, political intrigue, and ordinary people living on the edge of two worlds. It's a tale of faith, ambition, betrayal, and loyalty, of kings, queens, and the hopes and fears of generations. To understand this period is to understand the birth of modern Spain and the dawn of global exploration. The world we know today was shaped by the events that unfolded under these ancient mountains. The Reconquista's end was not inevitable. It was a messy, complex process of shifting alliances and human choices. Its echoes still shape our world. To understand the end of the Reconquista, we must look back to a time when Iberia was a mosaic of kingdoms. In the early 8th century, North African armies crossed into Iberia, swiftly conquering most of the Visigothic kingdom and creating Al-Andalus, a center of Islamic culture and learning. Yet, Christian principalities survived in the northern mountains, sparking a slow, centuries-long reconquest. The Reconquista was not a unified crusade, but a series of wars, truces, and shifting alliances. Christian kingdoms like Castile, Aragon, Portugal, and Navarre often fought each other as much as their Muslim neighbors. Power, not just religion, drove these conflicts. Al-Andalus itself fractured into rival Taifa kingdoms, who sometimes allied with Christian rulers against each other. This internal division became a critical weakness. Christian kingdoms exploited these rivalries, demanding tribute and using it to fund further conquests. By the late 1300s, Christian victories had pushed Muslim rule into a corner. Only the Emirate of Granada remained, protected by mountains and diplomacy. For over 150 years, Granada survived as a vassal state, paying tribute to Castile and maintaining a unique frontier society. Trade and conflict were two sides of the same coin. The Emirate of Granada was a marvel of survival, enduring as the last Muslim stronghold in Iberia for over 2 centuries. The Nasrid rulers mastered diplomacy, playing Castile and Aragon against each other, and maintaining ties with North Africa. Granada's capital, home to the Alhambra, reflected its wealth and culture. The economy thrived on silk and agriculture, with trade linking Iberia to the wider Islamic world. But prosperity was always shadowed by the threat of war and the burden of constant military readiness. Internally, the Nasrid court was rife with intrigue. Noble families vied for power, and sultans could be overthrown by rivals. Christian kingdoms exploited these divisions, supporting pretenders to the throne to keep Granada weak. Despite pressures, Granada preserved its independence through tribute, truces, and occasional raids. For ordinary people, peace was fleeting, and survival depended on their ruler's skill and their enemies' disunity. The cycle of tribute and conflict defined life on the frontier. Granada's endurance was remarkable, but its position was always precarious. The fate of Granada and Spain was sealed by a wedding Isabella of Castile and Ferdinand of Aragon in 1469. This union created a powerful alliance, ending centuries of rivalry between the two largest Christian kingdoms. Isabella was pious and determined, Ferdinand, a shrewd strategist. Together, they became the Catholic monarchs. Their shared vision, complete the Reconquista and forge a unified Catholic Spain. Before turning to Granada, they secured their own power through civil war and sweeping reforms, centralizing authority, reorganizing the army, and establishing law and order. Castile brought a large, battle-hardened army, Aragon, a formidable navy and mastery of siege artillery. Ferdinand understood the power of gunpowder, assembling a massive artillery train with European experts. The union changed the strategic map. Granada could no longer play its neighbors against each other. the stage was set for the final act. Granada now faced the combined might of a modern, unified state. The Catholic monarch's reforms gave them the resources and stability for a long, expensive war. Their partnership would reshape Spain and the world. The conquest of Granada became the ultimate project to unite their subjects. The endgame of the Reconquista had begun. As Ferdinand and Isabella consolidated power, Granada began to unravel from within. In 1482, a rebellion led by Boabdil, son of the ruling emir, sparked a destructive civil war, fueled by palace intrigue and family rivalries. The Christian monarch seized the opportunity, supporting one faction against another to weaken both. Boabdil was captured, then released by Ferdinand on the condition he serve as a vassal and fight his own family. The emirate fractured. At times, 3 rival sultans vied for control. While Muslim factions fought each other, Christian armies advanced almost unopposed, conquering towns piece by piece. The tragedy: Granada's warriors spent as much energy fighting each other as the invaders. By the time the Nasrids tried to unite, it was too late. The self-inflicted wounds of civil war proved fatal. Granada's fall was hastened as much by internal strife as by external conquest. The Granada War, beginning in 1482, was a relentless campaign of sieges, not pitched battles. Ferdinand and Isabella's armies, backed by the full resources of united Spain, advanced fortress by fortress, city by city. The key powerful bronze cannons that shattered walls once thought impregnable. The fall of Ronda in 1485 and the brutal siege of Malaga in 1487, where the population was enslaved, shocked Granada. With the coast lost, the Christians targeted Boabdil's uncle, Al-Zagal, whose strongholds fell one by one. The city of Baza endured a 6-month siege. When it surrendered, Al-Zagal's cause collapsed. Only Granada itself remained, surrounded by a massive Christian army in 1491. Instead of assault, Ferdinand built a fortified siege city, Santa Fe, signaling they would not leave until Granada surrendered. Inside, supplies dwindled and hope faded. Boabdil entered secret negotiations, and in November 1491, the Treaty of Granada was signed. The city would surrender in exchange for promises to protect its Muslim inhabitants. On January 2, 1492, the war was over. After centuries of conflict, Muslim rule in Iberia ended. The siege was a triumph of organization, artillery, and relentless pressure. The world was about to change. The Granada War's outcome was shaped not just by monarchs, but by thousands of ordinary people. Merchants and administrators organized vast supply lines, ensuring armies could campaign for months. Engineers and artillerymen, many recruited from across Europe, cast and operated the cannons that broke Granada's defenses. Granadan engineers fought back, reinforcing walls and building earthworks. Tens of thousands of laborers dug trenches, built roads, and constructed the siege city of Santa Fe in just 80 days. These workers were the unsung architects of victory. Even in war, life continued. Merchants traded, smugglers crossed frontiers, and local truces allowed farmers to harvest. Spies and diplomats moved between camps, gathering intelligence and negotiating. The daily struggles of these individuals made up the true fabric of history. Their efforts, often forgotten, were as vital as any general's strategy. The surrender of Granada on January 2, 1492, ended nearly 8 centuries of Muslim rule in Iberia. Legend says Boabdil wept as he left his lost city, a symbol of an era's end. For Ferdinand and Isabella, it was the ultimate triumph, forging a unified Catholic Spain. The promises of religious tolerance in the Treaty of Granada quickly faded. That same year, the Alhambra decree expelled Spain's Jews, marking a shift toward religious uniformity. The era of convivencia, coexistence of Christians, Muslims, and Jews, was over, with devastating cultural and economic consequences. With the war over, Spain turned outward, funding Columbus's voyage and opening the door to a new world. The conquistadors who followed carried the Reconquista's spirit of conquest across the Atlantic. The legacy of Granada's fall is still visible in Spain's architecture, language, and culture. History is never simple. The end of the Reconquista was both a beginning and an end. It birthed a global empire, but ended a multicultural society. The choices and ambitions of this era still shape our world. The echoes of 1492 remind us that history is a story of real people, with consequences that endure for centuries.